Welcome to our next installment of
Life in Stereo with your host Stephen Stone and your co-host Steve Gibbons.
Yes, and before we start, we have a special guest here, Joe Porto. But before we start, just wanted to mention that we are coming to you live. We're live from the Individual Advocacy Group Day Training Center, where Steve here comes on a daily basis and receives services. And to get more information about Individual Advocacy Group, you can go to www.iagcares.org. So, our special guest today is Joe Porto, and he is famously the son of Michelle Simo, who is one of our directors here, North Region, and the Glendale Bloomingdale in house region as well. And usually I have a bio on most of the people that we have come on here,
But
but I couldn't find one on Joe. I'm sure there's one somewhere, but I just could not locate one.
I'm sure Michelle could have given one to you.
Well, Michelle could have
Yeah.
done it, but we'll go ahead and let Joe go ahead. So I know that Joe is the son of Michelle Simo, and he was in the U of I marching band. So a shout out to the U of I
Men.
Fighting Illini for the Final Four this coming up weekend.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right. Did you
All
get
right.
to
Well, thank
watch
you,
some of
Steve.
that, Joe? Did you get to watch some of all of it, probably?
Yes, I did. I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I had to tune in
Yeah, you
because
got to watch,
Because
right?
you have
it's
I
the
Yeah.
historic
represented
run.
still.
So yeah,
So if you can go ahead, we'll turn it over to you right now, Joe, to kind of fill in the blanks between being Michelle's son and U of I drummer, and go ahead.
sure. Yeah, basically, so I've been playing drums my whole life, basically since it's hard to remember now. It was easier to remember when I was in eighth grade. I think it was 6 or 7, basically for as long as I can remember.
Wow, 6 or
Mom was
7.
nice enough to buy me a drum set. I don't know what overcame her, but she asked me what instrument I wanted to play in, fifth grade, I think, and I said drums, and she agreed and bought me a starter kit. I'm sure it was really annoying there for the first few years, but I had an incredible teacher too, so that was lucky. But
Who was
yeah,
your instructor?
his name was Brandon. I'm blanking on his last name now because it's
Okay,
been like a decade. But he was over at a music shop over there in Elgin. It's going to
okay.
be tough for me to remember names, but
Sure, sure. I got you.
yeah, a music shop over there in Elgin, and he was great. He was a big, rock metal guy, not a jazz guy at all. So that was where my drumming started. That's my background is rock and metal drumming, oddly enough. And then continued with that for like 10 years, loved it. Did, concert band, all the band stuff in high school and middle school. And then high school jazz band became available. So I jumped on that, first opportunity, mostly just because I could play drum set at school and that sounded fun. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
really that
cool,
big into
right? Yeah.
jazz music. Yeah. I was thinking, I'm a rock guy. I'm into AC/DC and Led Zeppelin. This is going to be, maybe the music will be boring, but it'll be fun to be able to play drums for a class at school. And then over time, I just fell in love with it. It was, and then I was this weird guy in high school that's listening to jazz music on the radio in his car, and it just became like my identity for a while. And
Okay.
still to this day, I love jazz music.
Now, how did
Um,
you get recruited, or did you have to apply for the U of I marching band? How did that occur?
yeah, that was an audition process. So I auditioned for a few different bands, U of I, NIU, which was the toughest. I did not get into NIU, and then Augustana, which was a smaller school in the Quad
August,
Cities.
really? August.
Yeah,
Hmm.
You know
and
Augustana, Steve?
They were just in the March Madness a couple years back.
Oh, okay.
wow, yeah, they're a really small school. But yeah, I auditioned for all three of those. I got into Augustana and to U of I. I was mostly just thinking jazz band at this point. I was going for jazz performance. That was going to be my degree. I ended up changing it.
Oh.
But so I made it into the U of I jazz program, their lowest level jazz band. They even have like a ranking system for incoming freshmen, which is
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
And I also made it into the marching band, which was a ton of fun. I ended up sticking with marching band for 2 years. And I quit jazz band after the first semester. It was just so intense. And I
I would
realized
think that the jazz band would be tough to get into, right?
I mean,
I mean, not the
yeah,
jazz band. I mean, the marching band. That's got to be
and
tough, right?
plus, if you've seen the movie Whiplash, if you remember that,
I don't
yeah,
remember. What do you
it was
refer?
nothing like Whiplash, thankfully.
I
But
know, but
Okay.
I'm just since we were talking about jazz, I figured Whiplash would be.
So tell us how it was being in the marching band. That's got to be pretty exciting, right?
very exciting. Yeah, playing at the football games and stuff. It was a blast. Of course, I just barely scraped in there as well. I was last snare, so they sort of organize it by talent. The guy in the middle is usually captain of the drum line, or number one snare, and then you
Okay.
get closer to the edge, and people sort of get less and less skilled. And the guy in the very end of the line is fighting for his spot every week. So I had to do like a little like drum off every week with the other guy who was an
Really?
alternate to see if I
No
could keep my
kidding.
spot. Yeah. So it was
Wow.
pretty intense, but
So
a
those
ton
other
of
people were really talented because I know you're a real talented drummer, so they must really be
oh yeah.
on
Those
a high
people
level.
it's a whole culture with the marching band thing. And people pay to do drum corps over the summer, which is something that I never did. It costs like thousands of dollars, and you go march in a drum corps. It's pretty much like the top of the top level for marching bands. They're professional marching bands,
Wow.
and yeah, that stuff is incredible. I have a ton of respect for those guys. I just
Yeah,
never committed that much time to it.
that's amazing though.
Yeah.
Any funny stories? Why I don't know. We don't want to hear wild stories from the marching band, but
Your days you about.
any comical, funny stories? I'm sure you got many.
Oh yeah, there's a ton. Yeah, I'd have to be careful in selecting one that's appropriate, but
Exactly.
there's it's kind of funny at Drumline. It's funny looking back on it. They like sort of thought they were their own fraternity. We did like little hazing rituals and stuff, but very tame compared to what actual fraternities did,
Sure,
I'm sure.
sure.
But oh yeah, there's a ton of stuff. There was moments where we'd have to go catch a bus to go to an away game, which happens sometimes, and some guy would be hungover, would miss the bus or be about to miss the bus, and we'd all have to go rush over to his dorm to go wake him up and get him. Sorts of stuff
Well,
like that would happen
college
all the
students,
time.
that's going
Yep,
to
yep.
happen no
College
matter
student,
what.
and then lots of early morning activities, early morning practices, which were not a good mix. College students and
Ugh.
early morning weekend activities.
Now you did that for 2 years, you said?
2 years, and then I quit just to focus on school more. It was
Okay,
just so intense, such a huge time commitment that it was
sure.
too much to juggle.
Yeah, it's just like in college with the athletes. It's like you can't figure out with the football players how do they really go to class or whatever. It's like football's a big commitment. So,
It's
it,
incredible, yeah. And I had some folks in my classes. I ended up switching to a history major, and I had other guys in drumline, or there was um, people who played sports in my classes too, which was always funny and just yeah, incredible that you can do that and graduate college
right.
at the same time. I couldn't. Yeah, and it was just
It's
marching band. It wasn't a sport at a D1 school like that.
but
But yeah,
still,
very
it's a
impressive.
lot of practice time, and it's got to be really difficult.
It was a lot, yeah. And I think the when I was a sophomore and the new freshmen started to come in and they were started to beat me for spots, and I was like, I could keep practicing all night every night, and maybe I'll lock in my spot on the end of the line, or I could just take some time off and focus on something else, and I'll still have gained a lot from it. I'm a much better drummer for it. It was a crucible of getting better at drumming. It was super,
Eh,
super intense. And the sort of
Cool.
stuff they play, a lot of people don't realize the drumline music is probably some of the most complex in the world. Like it's like a sport just to see how many, five
Sure.
lits, seven lits, odd time signatures, just constantly just complicated stuff being thrown at you. And it was a lot of fun, but it was super, super hard.
Is there any way you could play something on your kit that you got there, sort of similar to the drum line?
Yeah, I have the intro to the U of I drum line.
All right.
They're like
I told
stock
him
cadence
I
that they
told him
play
Joe to
burned into my
prepare for
brain.
something. So,
I wouldn't even have to prepare for this. This is stuck in my brain whether I want
oh,
it to be or not.
forever. Okay.
Yes, I remember the first like four measures, and then it sort of fades off, but it starts like this. And there's a big buzz, and then I can't remember what comes next.
Okay, that's
That
good. Okay.
That just shows
burned into my brain. Yep.
Sounds like we're at a football game, right?
that just shows you how
Yeah.
committed drummers have to be.
Yeah. Now
Except
tell
imagine
us.
it like double speed. So yeah, it's like that, but
Yeah.
cleaner and 12 guys doing it at once.
Yeah, that's cool. I have a drum instructor, Brad Schluter. You might have heard of him. We had him on a podcast a week ago, and he
Yeah.
always tries to teach me with that more or less throwing the stick down, so that it's bouncing up. That's how you get the
Yeah.
speed. I don't have that, but that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It's tough. Tell us
Yeah.
about after college now, your musical career now. Tell us about that. We hear you have a band, Blunder Buss.
Yes. Yeah. So after college, took a break for a few years, just focused on getting a job and stuff.
A
And
good idea.
in college, it was junior year after I quit drumline. Mom was very nice, took up some extra shifts at IAG, I would guess, and bought me this electric kit that I'm playing now. So,
Okay.
and I've
Wow.
had it now for almost 10 years. So, I practiced a lot on the electric kit after I quit drumline, just so I could, so I didn't lose my chops.
Sure.
And then found a job, graduated, still play the electric kit every once in a while for fun. I got bored, just playing alone. So I started looking online for, I was in like local Chicago music scene spaces online trying to join a band. And I'd stumbled across this internet band called Blunder Buss that was looking for a drummer. And I checked out their stuff. It was really cool. They do, all sorts of music, every genre you could imagine, which is pretty fun. And I did a little internet audition for them. They had me like send a sample of my drumming. They thought I was good enough, so I got the gig. And I've been in this band for 3 years now, I think. Yeah, time flies, and it's really fun. It's just no pressure. Everyone else has day jobs as well.
Sure.
Two of the members have two kids, or three of the members have kids actually. So it's all, someone will send a demo. Usually one of the singers will send a demo of them playing guitar and singing. I'll put a drum beat over it, and then we'll build a song from there, like very slowly, piece by piece.
Okay. And you're married, correct? We just
Yes,
to
I'm
give the
married.
audience a little bit more about yourself. Married, no
Yep,
children
married.
as of yet, or
No children, two dogs. Yep, living in an apartment in Chicago.
okay. Do you
Yep,
have
been working.
some
Go ahead.
samples of your band's music? Can you
Yeah,
give?
I don't have anything ready to pull up live, but I could go find something. But yeah, you can find us on all streaming platforms.
Okay.
Blunderbuss. I think there's a couple of blunderbusses, so
Okay.
I can maybe I can send you a
Give
link,
me
Steve.
Yeah, send a link to
Yeah.
Joe, who sent Joe Cardinal, who's
Mhm.
our producer. Send that to him, and when it gets up on Spotify and YouTube, we can put the Blunderbuss link onto that.
there.
Okay.
For sure.
We're
Yeah.
also trying to do with the guests we have on to uh, have a logo. If you have a logo for the group,
Mhm.
send that to Joe so we can put it up. We like the guests to promote, what they're doing so that
Okay.
people see. You got like a ton of views for this band? Are they big on YouTube or what do you?
No, very small. Hundreds of views sort of thing. But it's really just it's a hobby project for everyone in it.
Something
The
to
point
do.
isn't to get big. The point is to, people have these songs that they're writing that would just sit there on their computer, and now they have some friends they could share it with, and we can all turn it into something and publish it.
Yeah, that's cool, Joe. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah. I
let's
also do I do a
go
solo
ahead.
project too,
Okay.
if we're plugging stuff. But
Yes, we are.
yeah, Book of Penumbra, Penumbra, which means like shadow. So it's that, and that's more it's all instrumental stuff. I don't sing. I'm like basically tone deaf, but I'm very tone deaf, which is funny for being an amateur musician. But yeah, that project is more like me trying to get better at other instruments. So it's all like solo guitar stuff. It's me trying to get better
Okay.
at
So
guitar.
you play the guitar as well and the bass that's hanging on the wall?
Yeah, we got a bass here. Yep, I have a guitar hanging over here too, just out of frame.
Okay.
Not really good for the audio medium, but yeah, I have some. These are just cheapy beginner instruments. Those were a couple $100
Okay.
each.
So yeah, when
Yeah,
you send Joe the Blunderbuss logo, send something for your solo projects so we can get them up and people can hopefully take a look at that.
yeah,
Uh,
we'll do.
Now I'm gonna shift it over to Steve here, and I'll shut myself down for the jazz conversation. And maybe when we had Brad, my drum instructor, he played some samples of things he does with jazz. So I'll turn
Okay.
it over to you two to discuss jazz.
So, what was it about jazz, like drumming specifically, that really impressed you?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there's so much. It's I guess it was the variety. So coming from a foundation of rock drumming,
Mm-hmm.
hearing jazz drumming, just the variety of styles and just the creativity that you can have. Cool things like clicking your stick on your other stick on the drum, or like press rolls, things that you never hear in rock drumming that are just they're really creative and fun from the drummer's point of view. It's just fun to play.
And then,
Yeah, that's what drew me to it. Is just like, oh wow, what are they doing there? And you're just hearing something and being like, how are they doing that? What is that noise?
and then
Where in rock drumming, it's like pretty straightforward, and you
it's
don't have to guess what the drummer's doing.
it's buried through everything else. Uh,
Yes.
and also, I always ask people this, like when we had Brad Sluter on the other week, I asked him
Mhm.
who his drumming Mount Rushmore was.
That's Steve's favorite famous question with all the guests. Who's your
Mount
I love
Mount
it.
Rushmore of guitars or drums or singers or whatever?
That's how
Now,
Yeah, I can talk about that for 2 hours.
that's how I judge. If
so
So are these
you're
just jazz drummers or
or
drummers in
just
general?
Mount Rushmore of drummers, I would say, jazz or
Mm,
otherwise.
yeah, man, that's really tough.
I'm
I'd
sure
have more than four.
I'm sure Bonham is one of them.
Bonham would be up there. Yeah, Bonham and Pert, probably the two that got me into drumming in the first place. I'm sure that's common for a lot of drummers.
Sure,
Yeah.
And
right.
then Art Blakey would have to be in
Oh
there.
yeah,
For,
yeah,
he was
jazz
my
messengers.
jazz guy in the
Who
Yeah,
was that?
beginning.
I'm sorry,
Art
who?
Blakey of the Jazz Messengers.
Okay,
Yeah, Art Blakey. Um, who else? Probably some like contemporary guy, like um the drummer for Tool. I'm blanking on his name. He's super good.
Danny
Danny
Carey.
Carey.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's incredible. Um, yeah, probably Danny Carey would be up there too.
and a
There's
lot of
so many. I could just list names of drummers for hours if
and a
you
lot of
wanted to.
people and a lot of people put Gene Krupa on their jazz Mount Rushmore.
He's good. He's like, yeah, I feel like for an older generation, he was like your Neil Peart. Like he got a lot of people into drumming because he was
sure.
like led the band and was pretty much the front man of his band, even though he was the drummer, which was unheard of at the time.
But then,
Yeah, and Buddy Rich, obviously, I love
yeah,
him.
I was gonna
Respect to Buddy
say,
Rich.
Right,
Yeah,
everybody mentions Buddy Rich, no question
yeah,
about
yeah,
that. He was
yeah. There's
fantastic.
so many good jazz drummers. Like a lot don't even go mentioned.
I
Like
mean Max
Elvin
Roach.
Jones, Max Roach is incredible. Yeah, yeah, and all the way through to today, there's a lot of good jazz drummers today too that are leading bands. Like Yusuf Days is a really interesting artist out that's producing new jazz music today. Um, Micaiah McCraven is another one, a little more underground. He's like a local Chicago guy who's been putting out jazz albums for years. Um, it's cool that this stuff is like still going on. It's obviously not as mainstream as it was like
Sure.
100 years ago, but you can find people producing new contemporary jazz, whether it's weird out there stuff or like traditional stuff.
Of
Like
course,
Ulysses Grant is another guy that I really like.
if you want to
Who's
talk
like
about
he's like a modern jazz drummer, but he does very traditional.
if
You
you
know,
want if you want to talk about great jazz drummers, you got to mention Tony Williams because
yes, Tony Williams is another great, yeah, often overlooked. Um, yeah,
because
people sort of talk
I
about Buddy Rich, but they won't mention Tony ever.
I'm sure you recognize the name Greg Bissonette, don't you?
Yes, Greg Bissonette. Wait, what band is he in?
He was in Ringo and the Roundheads. He was doing Ringo's Ulster Band for like since '03.
Didn't
That's
he? I
right.
think he did something with David Lee Roth too, right?
He was on the Edom, yeah.
Eat 'em and
Yeah,
Smile tour, right?
Mhm.
Or album or
And then he
whatever.
was with Toto after Simon Phillips hurt his back.
that's right. Yeah, that guy's a monster. I
He
think I've
is.
seen him on Drumeo on YouTube.
Yes.
Yep, he
Yeah,
is
I love that
something.
channel.
So you're a big Neil Peart guy, like many, many people.
I know.
Huge.
What
Yeah,
do you
that was
think
my
about
initiator.
what do you think about the person taking over? She played with Jeff Beck. I forgot her name. Do you know her name?
It's that German,
Yeah, what's her name? Nina?
Um,
you know.
Annika. Yeah,
What do you think of her as the
Annika
replacement?
Niels. I haven't seen a lot. I just saw some clips of her on Instagram, and she seems like a really incredible drummer. Um, yeah, it's the stuff I've seen her play. I haven't seen her like cover a Rush song, so I'm curious to see how she does that justice. But
They just played on
yeah,
some festival, not festival, it's on YouTube. They were on some kind of an award show and they did the first track of the first album. Um, what was the name?
Fly by Night was it for?
No,
No.
I forgot, but she seems pretty good and the comments were all positive. Of course, she played for many years with Jeff Beck, which
Which
if
mhm,
he's got you
Jeff Beck
playing,
is.
if he's
yeah.
got you in in the group, you got to be good.
I mean, heck, he wrote songs for gosh darn Stevie Wonder, so you got to be.
Right, he's
Oh,
Jeff
really?
Beck
Wow.
is one of the greatest. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, can you, before we conclude, can you play us some little bit of snippets of jazz on your
Yeah, of
electric kit
course.
there? Steve always wants to hear some jazz stuff.
Yeah, I wish I had a real kit to play on for you, but
I know.
Yeah, you'd be evicted, then we don't want that.
yeah,
You'd
I
be
have one in our basement here. There's nowhere to set it up and play. But yeah, I mean, what type of jazz do you want? Do we want some straight ahead?
like big band era,
Oh, he's a big
Krupa.
Yeah,
band era kind of guy.
spling a ling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't go as fast as I used to with jazz. I used to when I was in high school and practicing for college. It could be, I can't go double time anymore.
There's something about Buddy Rich's playing that people love. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he's very precise, technical, clean.
Have you seen
Like
the
if he's gonna do a single stroke roll, you're gonna hear every note exactly at the right dynamics. It's not
Have you seen the have you seen
very
the clip
controlled.
of him with Carson and he's twirling the
Clip of him with Johnny Carson back in the day. He would
No,
be
I
on
don't
the
think I've
Johnny
seen him.
Carson show quite a bit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He was
he
a
was. Yeah, I've seen clips of him on Johnny Carson. I don't know that specific one, but yeah, he would do all sorts of. He
But
was cool because his stuff was very showy, but also really hard to do.
the clip I'm talking about is there Johnny asked him to join the Tonight Show band and he's like, those are my brand new Ludwig drums and I haven't played them yet and he
Yeah.
Johnny had the sticks and then Johnny goes he just walks up and goes, I just wanted to see you go down and go drums with no sticks. Yay.
I forgot the guy's name, but he was the one that played Hogan on Hogan's Heroes. Robert Crane, is it?
Bob Crane, yeah.
Bob Crane. He was like a phenomenal drummer. I mean, it's like you watch clips of him, it's like, holy cow, fantastic. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
all right, Steve, any final questions?
Um so who was besides Blakey, who were some of your other jazz related influences?
I'd say well,
Rich was
right
one of
now
them.
I'm just stuck on all these current guys because that's who's inspiring me right now. But
Well,
yeah,
you said Rich was one of them.
yeah, Buddy Rich was huge. Yeah, Art Blakey,
D,
Elvin Jones, so like John Coltrane's band
of
was
course.
yeah, I loved them. I had Giant
Probably.
Steps
Yeah, I was gonna
CD.
say. Yeah. And of course you got
um,
people like Philly Joe Jones, Tony Williams, and people like that don't go credited as much.
yeah, yeah, Tony Williams is a huge one. He was yeah, people go watch his clips and they'll amaze you just as much as some old Buddy Rich clips. He was
And
incredible.
Okay.
the reason I mentioned Greg Bissonette is because that's who he trained under.
Oh, really? He trained under Tony Williams?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
That's
See, Steve
incredible.
has a lot of information there. That's why he's the host.
I love
He's,
And you're just the
I'm just the slow.
gopher. Yeah.
That's right.
it.
All right, well, Joe, we want to thank you for coming on today. We really appreciate it. Fantastic segment. And if you get that stuff to Joe, so it'll go up when your show goes up on Spotify and YouTube. Okay?
Yeah,
Thank,
will do.
thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks,
Take
Steve, and
care.
thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.